Okay, terrific. We're here, back. All right, welcome to the Podcast Engineering Show. This is going to be an interesting episode. It's the first episode of its kind. I'm going to explain what I'm going to do here in this episode and future episodes like it. But anyway, real quick, I'm Chris Curran. I produce podcasts for a living, and I also teach at the Podcast Engineering School. I have a background in audio engineering in the music business, and I'm really happy to help podcasters everywhere and podcast producers, learn the basics of audio production and learn advanced audio production. And actually, that's what my Podcast Engineering School is all about. We just started the January semester, but the next semester starts April what? I should know this. All right. Anyway, it's in April. We start in April. So the early bird pricing is really good now. So here's the deal. This is the plan for this. Well, so in the new year, 2019, my plan, I can't remember if I mentioned it last episode or not, but my plan is to do interviews with guests and publish those every other week. Because basically that's what I was doing for, I think, most of 2018. When I started this show, I was doing every week, but you all know that every week can be rough. So I switched to every other week, and that's a lot better. And anyway, that worked for me. So I'm going to continue doing, putting out interviews every other week, but I thought in between, I'm going to put out shorter episodes. And so what are these shorter episodes going to cover? Well, I don't know if you saw, but if you go to podcastengineeringschool.com, you're going to see that I'm publishing a daily goody. I know, don't you love that name? I really don't know if I love it yet. A daily goody. Anyway, I'm putting out a daily blog post, really short blog post, with just some little tidbit of knowledge or, a fact or something to enhance your podcast audio production. And here's the thing. I don't want you guys to expect too much from these daily goodies. This is just like small, tiny stuff every day. Like, the idea is that if you read it every day, after a year, after 365 goodies, you'll really know a lot more. So that's the idea. So don't look at a certain post on a certain day and be like, oh, there's not much here. This isn't awesome content. Like, just go easy on me. All right. I mean, there's going to be all kinds of good stuff. And I think every day will be great in a small way. So you can go, obviously, to the website, podcastengineeringschool.com, and in the footer, I think, you could click on Daily Goody. I don't know, maybe I should put it in the top menu. But anyhow, so I'm writing these tiny blog posts every day, and here's the thing. Every other week on this podcast, I'm just going to put out a quick little episode of me talking about some of the daily goodies, right? And I'm not going to talk about all of them, and I don't know how much depth I'll go into. We're going to find out right now, because this is the first time I'm doing it. And I just realized I'm backing up my hard drive right now, and usually I don't have any of that stuff connected or running while I'm recording audio. But anyway, so this is the plan. That's the plan for this episode, and every other week it's going to be a quick episode of me going over just various topics of little, facts, little nuggets, little teachings, little learnings, whatever you want to call it. And hopefully you guys like it. I mean, let me know what you think. So that's my plan. I do want to thank Josh Pound for the shout out on Facebook. Yeah, somebody was asking for good podcasts about podcast production, and Josh Pound was generous enough to mention my show, and he had good things to say. So thank you, Josh. And also, why haven't you been a guest on my show yet? Maybe I didn't ask you, but I guess I'm asking you. So anyway, we can connect on Facebook for that, because I know you are producing episodes for people. I did mention the April semester of Podcast Engineering School, so that comes up in April. So we got a few months, gives people time to plan. And all right, so now I'm going to get into these topics. What I did was I just listed all the topics that I've put out for the last 2 weeks, and I'm just going to go through them, and like the ones I feel like talking about, I'm going to talk about, and then the other ones, I might not talk about it. But so again, you can go to the website and check it out. And you can also, on the website, you can comment on any of these posts. And of course, I'll see the comments. And if you have a question, I can answer it as well. So, all right, the first topic is ear training. Your ears are the most important part when it comes to podcast audio production. Your ears are everything. That's how you do anything. That's how you get anything done. So the idea with ear training is that, you start to train your ears. You become more discerning, and you learn more about what you're hearing, meaning you can hear in finer detail of what audio is being played. I mean, that's what I do. It's like when I'm producing an episode, I can literally listen to someone speaking for about 5 seconds, and literally I pretty much know everything that I need to do to that voice to make it sound really good. Now, maybe it's 10 seconds, but I'm serious. I can do it quick because I've just done it so much. And so you can get to that point as well. All right, so that's ear training, very important. There's a bunch of different ways to do ear training. In fact, in class number 1 of Podcast Engineering School, which was last night, I'm so psyched for this January semester. A part of their homework is it has to do with ear training. I'll leave it at that. All right, next topic is a mixer. I mean, again, I told you every post wasn't going to be rocket science, right? A mixer, basically, a mixer is a piece of gear that you can input a lot of different audio from different sources. You can mix it together and all that, and then you can send it out in many different ways. Obviously, that's a mixer. You probably already know what a mixer is. The next post on my site is my episode 112, which was my 416 experience so far and more. And I still am doing the Meditate with Chris, and I'm using the 416 for that. So, all right, the connection speed of internet guests. This is actually important, right? Like if you're going to connect with a guest, one of the first things you should ask them is like, how's your internet connection? Are you connected Wi-Fi or through Ethernet? Because, if they have a really shoddy connection, it's going to be rough. So that's a big one. All right, next one, background noise. Well, it's kind of obvious that if there's, whether it's you in your studio or the guest, if there's a lot of background noise, that's going to be a problem. Especially when you start, EQing and compressing and stuff, like that's going to bring out more of the background noise. So, well, first, in your own studio, you should eliminate all background noise as much as you can. That's a given. And for guests, you got to take them on a case-by-case basis, but hopefully, they're not sitting right next to an air conditioner expecting to do, an hour-long interview. All right, next one, mix down resolution. Well, when you mix down your final episodes, what resolution are you saving them as? I mean, it's good to mix it down to uncompressed format, like a WAV file, right? And then archive that WAV file. That's what I do. But actually, other people who use Adobe Audition, they can export it out of Audition as an MP3. And so within Audition, before they export it, they can actually level it, right, to the proper LUFS level, and then export it as an MP3, and then boom, you're done. So that's good. That's fine too. I just prefer archiving the WAV file as well as the final MP3, just because I like to have my uncompressed real version, quote unquote, real version of the mix. All right, next one, tape emulation. Remember they used to use audio tape, like reel-to-reel tape in studios? Or even cassette tape? Did you ever have one of those 4-track recorders that was a cassette tape recorder? Well, analog tape sounds different than digital recording, and so they do make these plugins that emulate that tape sound, and it's kind of subtle, and it's, mostly has to do with compression and saturation, and also tape adds a little tape hiss, right? But anyway, they make plugins for that, and some people like it. I like it, and I used to use it on podcast episodes for a little bit. I tried it, but then I just got rid of it because it was it was adding a little bit of noise. All right, next one. How long will it take to get good? Well, meaning get good at producing audio and all that. So it takes a while. First you got to have the knowledge, and then you got to practice it. And so I don't know, like if you start from nothing, it's definitely going to take you a year or two to get good. And that's with actually doing it and practicing and trying and producing audio and, listening critically to your mixes in various places. Like, it just takes a while. I mean, you probably heard me say on this show before that even today, I am, playing with different EQs and compression and trying to improve as well. So, all right, next one. Storing gear when not in use. Well, if you're not using gear and you got to store it away, you got to be careful. The two main things you got to be careful of is moisture and extreme heat or extreme cold. So extreme temperature. So you want low moisture and you want no extreme hot or cold. That's basically what you want. Okay, area rugs. The next one. Well, look, if you're in a room with a wooden floor, like a bare wooden floor, and you want to record in that room, it's a good idea to get an area rug because an area rug will help catch a bunch of the reflections. All right. Oh, then the next post is my interview with Noah Snyderman, which was the previous episode, 113, which was really cool. I really enjoyed that one. I hope you did too. All right. Next one, using templates in your DAW. Obviously, it's really good to, in your DAW software, set up a template for each episode. And, you can have, your music already loaded in there. You can have, you can load a lot of things in there, effects chains and save it as a template. So then, when it's time to record that next episode, boom, you just open up a template and obviously save a copy of it as the new episode. All right, next one, creating that telephone call sound. Now I don't know, unless it's like, unless you're doing it like to record like a commercial or something, like you want to record some audio and then make it sound like the person's on the phone. That's one case where you might use this little EQ trick that I'm about to tell you. But besides that, I don't know where you would, or why you would use it. But it is instructive in terms of mixing. If someone really does join by phone, it helps to know how to get that telephone call sound. So then you'll know what frequencies are there when you do get someone on the phone. So basically, when someone's on the phone, there's basically nothing below 300 hertz and nothing above 3 kilohertz. So if you wanted to, record your own voice, and then what you can do is record your own voice on a mic like normal, then take an EQ and literally just remove everything below 300 hertz and everything above 3 kilohertz, and then it'll sound like you're on the phone. All right, next one is two extremes of editing philosophy. I mean, it's in a way, it's kind of simple. One is just spend a zillion hours and edit the bejesus out of the audio. The other one is almost do no editing. And of course, there's everything in between. All right, next one, LUF standard. Well, we've talked about LUF standard enough. And then, okay, the next one, deciding to edit other shows for money. So if you want to decide you want to be a podcast editor, you're going to make some money here. Well, there's a bunch of things to keep in mind. And anyway, I'm not going to go through the whole post. This one is actually longer than a little bit of the others, but you can go to the website and check it out. And, then the next one is the lifetime membership to the PES closed community of alumni and students. So basically, when a student signs up for Podcast Engineering School, they get into our closed community, which it's a Slack group with all the students and alumni, and that's for life. So that's one of the really good things about signing up for Podcast Engineering School. And actually, that's it. So there you go. There's my little rundown of the daily goodies from the past couple weeks. And next week, we'll be back with an interview. And I can actually say who it's going to be because it's already been recorded. Jennifer Longworth. That's right. Next week, you'll hear it. I still need to mix it. But anyway, that's it for this episode. I still don't know what I'm going to call these episodes. So it's, I don't know what I'm going to name the actual episode, like, roundup of the daily goodie or I just can't think of a name yet. But anyway, I'll have to think of one I'll have to think of one in a few hours because I got to schedule this to go out tomorrow morning. So, all right. Well, thank you for listening. Really, I really appreciate it. If you need any help, seriously, contact me through the website or social media. I'm here to help. And I'm totally psyched for this year, by the way. You got PodFest in March, NAB, the Podcast Pavilion at NAB, that's in April. And you got Podcast Movement in August. I mean, I hope you're going to go to some of these events, and I hope to see you there. So anyway, take care. I'll talk to you next week.